What's up YouTube, it's your boy GSG Shots, and today I'm gonna be giving you guys the top 5 SMGs to use in Warzone. I tested out all the SMGs to give you guys the best of the best and make sure that you guys are out there racking up these kills. Starting off at number 5 is the WP9. The WP9 is one of the most underrated SMGs in the game, and Slick can be one of the strongest if you know how to build it right. Alright, to start off, we're gonna start off with the muzzle. This gun does have a lot of recoil and gun kick. I don't know if you guys have tested this thing out or picked it up off the ground, but once you pick it up, you really notice that this thing has a lot of recoil and gun kick if you do not build it correctly. And so we're going to throw on this quartermass suppressor to help us out with that. As you can see, the gun kick and recoil control are big boosts on here. Minus 23%, minus 10, and minus 10% are something we're really going to need to keep this thing low and steady and have it as minimal recoil as possible. Next, we're going to move over to the barrel. I like to add a little bit of extra movement and mobility with this, so I like to put on the his short light barrel. As you can see, it gives us sprint speed, sprint to fire, and ADS speed, because you know this is a SMG and we're trying to sort of build this towards a movement build, so we want to have as much movement and mobility as possible, so go ahead and throw that on. Next, we're going to move over to the optic. You can use a few different ones, but the best one by far to me, I think for any gun in this game, is the Jack Glassless. Like I said, it does have a lot of recoil and gun kick, so with the firing aiming stability, it helps us out when we have to hit those more so mid-range gunfights and sometimes close range. You know, sometimes we can get a little bit of flinch, and this helps us keep it stable and on target, so definitely throw that on. Next, moving on to the magazine. This gun doesn't have the highest fire rate in the world, but it's also not the slowest, so we're going to throw in that 50 mag to make sure we got enough bullets for these quads and trios and these stackers that are going to rush us. Next, we're going to move over to the underbarrel, and I like to use the paracord grip. The most important part here is the horizontal recoil. As you can see here in detail, minus 15% is definitely a huge boost for us. I'm going to keep this gun low, steady, and having us on target for as long as possible. So go ahead and throw that on. Number 4 on the list is the MCW. Now we know the MCW isn't an SMG, but if you put this conversion kit on, it completely changes the weapon and turns it into one of the best SMGs in the game. This conversion kit, the Jack Raven kit, changes the fire rate, the mobility, everything about this gun changes completely. You even see the damage to close range changes, which is a difference that you usually don't really see unless you put on a conversion kit. So as you can see with that, it definitely has turned this into a much better SMG. Now we're going to move over to the muzzle. I like to use the quartermass suppressor. This gun doesn't have the worst recoil in the world, but you know, any bonus to helping with that gun kick and recoil is much needed. Now we're going to move over to the underbarrel. I like to use the paracord grip again, that horizontal recoil. The sprint to fire is really important with this being SMG, so go ahead and throw that on. Next, we're going to move over to the magazine. Not too many options here, but the most you can get for this is the 40 mag, so definitely throw that on. And last but not least, we are going to put a optic on here. And the best one to me is the Jack Glassless. Again, this precision sight right here is really good. It helps you a lot with the firing aiming stability too, which is something that people really sleep on and don't really notice until you use a different sight. That the Jack Glassless actually does help you a lot and keep your gun steady in these gunfights, and that will complete the MCW build. Number 3, we have the striker. So for this striker build, it's going to be another one of our movement builds, and to start it off, we're going to put the quartermass suppressor on to keep that gun kick and recoil control down and keep this thing steady. Next, we're going to move over to the underbarrel. I like to use the paracord grip on here to get that boost from the horizontal recoil and the sprint to fire, so we can get in these gunfights faster than our enemies. Next, we're going to move over to the ammo, and I like to use the high grains because this gun does need a little bit of extra help in the bullet velocity and damage department. And as you can see here, you get a good bit of a boost with that the high grains on, so go ahead and throw that on. Next, we're going to put on a 48 mag. You can use the 60 mag, but the 60 mag makes this thing feel a little bit too slow for me, and the 48 mag is pretty much a good middle ground for me. So go ahead and throw that on. And with this being a movement build, we're going to put the no stock on, and you would think that it would give this gun a whole lot of recoil, but honestly this thing doesn't have that much recoil with this on, and it definitely gives us a huge boost in sprint to fire, ADS, and movement speed. Number 2 on the list, the SUPERI 46. The SUPERI 46 is still my favorite SMG to use with its super fast TTK and insane movement. I got the best build for you movement kings out there. All right, to start off, we're going to start off with the quarterback quartermaster suppressor, of course, again. Next, we're gonna move over to the barrel. I like to use the bore 99 short because this thing really does make a huge difference in the movement. When I've been using this thing, it's had me flying across the map pretty much faster than any SMG I've tried out on this game. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that on. Next, with this being a short barrel, the con to that is not having the best bullet velocity and damage. So to make up for that, we're gonna put the high grain rounds on. As you can see here, it gives us a little bit of a boost to the damage range and a good bit of a boost to the bullet velocity. So go ahead and throw that on. Next, we're gonna put on the 40 mag just to get those extra bullets in there. And last but not least, for the stock, we are going to use the Rescue 9 stock. It gives us a boost to the movement speed, sprint speed, and also recoil, which is something we're really going to need because this is a short barrel slash movement type of build. So with that being said, we're going to need some extra help for to compensate for the recoil that'll be added because of that. As you see here, it gives us -8% and -8% just for having that on, and does make a huge difference, and that will complete the build for the SUPERI 46. The number 1 SMG on this list, the Static HV. The Static HV is by far the best SMG in the game, and it's really not even that close. Everybody in the World Series of Warzone was using this thing, and I got the best build for you guys. All right, to start it off, for the muzzle, of course, the quartermaster suppressor. Next, we're gonna move over to the barrel. I like to use the Auger 840 light barrel. Helps us out in movement speed, sprint to fire, and ADS speed. It's really gonna have us flying across the map and getting in and out of these gunfights and having us feeling real light on our feet. Next, we're gonna move over to the optic. You have a good amount of choices for this. You do not have to use my choice, the Jack glasses, which is by far the favorite one for me and a lot of players, even players like Biffle, Shifty, and all of them. The Jack glasses feels really nice on this thing, but you could choose whichever one you like to. But the fire and aim and stability is probably the most important part and why everybody uses that. It really helps out a lot on this SMG, so go ahead and throw that on. Next, we're gonna move over to the stock. I like to use the Spry light stock. It gives us movement speed, sprint speed, and ADS speed, giving us a good boost to that movement speed. This is, I would say, more so a movement build, but it's really the best build overall, which it just so happens to be a movement build. And you will see when you use this thing, it'll have you feeling pretty good. And last but not least, we're going to move over to the underbarrel. You really have two choices for this, but my personal go-to and favorite is the paracord grip. This definitely helps with the horizontal and the sprint to fire speed, something that is very important. We need to get this gun up and hopefully faster than our opponent so we can shoot them before they shoot us and, you know, get that kill. And if you don't want to use that, you can use the Jack Slash. I did see a good amount of people using this underbarrel in the World Series of Warzone. It helps with the movement speed and sprint speed and the vertical recoil, which is more so the recoil that this gun has. But for me, I'm going to use the paracord grip, and that's the one I'm going to recommend to you guys to complete this build. Now that you guys have the best SMG builds for Warzone, let me know in the comments what you think about it. If they're trash, if they're really good, let me know. I really appreciate the support, and I hope you guys enjoy. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much, and GG.